I live in Victoria on Vancouver Island, British Columbia. I am noticing more and more deer in the suburbs, along with, of course, more people and pet interactions. And I was wondering, who cares about the deer in Victoria?
One of the reasons I think I'm getting visits now is there was a big dog that lived next door and that dog is now gone. So that deterrence factor has left. A lot of people in the neighborhood have seen this big 4-point buck, and so far, although he's jumped the fence, and I have this stuff here to try and deter him landing, he's just eaten small amounts of the clove current and seems to rest here because there's piles of manure. So the damage that he could have done is, the potential damage is much greater, but I'm concerned that these visits will continue and the damage that he does will grow ever more.
Well, I mean, I think it's a more complex issue than what the CRD is making it out to be in this case. Basically what they've said is that what they've proposed through the CAG is a call, and the call is just a singular way of dealing with this issue. It's a multifaceted issue, and it has complex roots, and it needs complex solutions as well. So we need to deal with both, how we live with the deer in our local communities. We need to look at how development occurs in communities both local to Victoria and in the surrounding areas. Because what we've seen over the last 10, 20 years is that, these the wild space, the green corridors, have been decimated by development interests. And, little concern has been given to how that affects the environment.
My thoughts on deer are, there's nothing wrong with Mother Nature. It gets in the way of traffic a little bit. I mean, it kind of causes a problem, but at the same time, it's worth it.
Well, I have them in my yard, which I don't appreciate, and I'd like them not to be there, but I don't know what can be done about it.
They're a nuisance and should be dealt with, with a cull. And they should, you can stew them up, feed them to, give them a charity, I don't know, but you gotta get rid of them. And relocating them like the rabbits you did at UVic would be too expensive, so stew them up. It's my opinion.
Deers are very beautiful creatures, and they're teachers. They teach us how to be light and free, and can show us how to be graceful, light and free, and how to only take what we need.
Where I work up on the base in Esquimalt, a lot of people come in from different areas, and they think it's fascinating that we have deer, and they take pictures, and it's a big positive, usually, deal. So, except when you're driving, sometimes they take a while to get across the road, but everyone's patient, and no one really gets upset, so it's kind of cool.
Hey man, I've been living in Victoria and hanging around here and doing lots of walking, and there's signs posted that say look out for deer, and especially at dusk. And you can see the deer and you're watching them along the side of the road, but people are driving down the road way too fast, and there's no way that they're going to see the deer because they're camouflaged and they're going to get hit. So if people would just pay attention to that and respect that, then they wouldn't kill as many deer as they do.
I used to live over in Gordon Head, over by the university, and there's quite a lot of deer over there, and I know a lot of the neighbors complain because they eat their flowers, their fruits, their vegetables. They're just in the gardens, and I'm don't like that. But I just have noticed over the years that there's been quite a growth in the deer population.
And I see in the news some jerks out there that shoot them with crossbows, and it's not a humane way to deal with it. So maybe there needs to be something organized to deal with the problem that's out there.
So what we have is, with this whole deer business, is a very complex issue. You've got fundamentally three different areas. You have the rural areas, the agricultural areas, and the urban areas. And each one has very specific issues and different solutions. Certainly one size fits all doesn't work in this case. In the situation with the Saanich Peninsula, for example, the agricultural areas, there really is, it would seem, an increase in deer population, and it makes sense then to reduce the numbers. In the urban areas, any kind of a cull doesn't, it's just a sort of a no-go on that one. You'd have too much public resistance to it. So we'd have to be looking at different solutions like spay-back, fencing regulations and things like that. In the rural areas, again, you have sort of a different situation where most rural areas are content to leave things as they are. We sort of coexist with deer and will continue to do so.
A cull is a way of drastically reducing numbers. It doesn't create sustainability, it doesn't offer much to either side in this debate. I think strategies that exist in the long term that would be more beneficial to both deer advocates and also municipalities are strategies that are based in science that has to do with migration patterns, feed patterns, reproductive cycles, strategies that have to do with wildlife, geography, specific to this area. A cull is not an option that anyone particularly likes.
Well, I certainly hear a lot of comments from people that that are distressed by the effects that deer have on their property and on things in general, both because they eat plant material and because they leave evidence of their being there in the form of droppings. They do a lot of damage, as well as simply eating the material as well, and that's contrary to my sense of liking to see things not being wasted.
Every solution is going to require cooperation between the municipalities involved and the province. CRD has been acting as an information gathering agency on behalf of the municipalities. We've undertaken the deer report. We are now meeting with the province and municipal officials to determine what is feasible, what isn't, whether they're willing then to undertake some of the recommendations that require approvals from those agencies. Everything has problems, every solution has got problems that come with it, and they all have to be looked at. But I think in the case of the spay-back, we would be hoping to probably have a pilot program established. It's one of the means we're looking at for the non-lethal control of deer.
And we're saying there's so many non-lethal things you could do. There's a spay-vac, which is a shot you give the lady deers and then they don't have any babies. You can use garlic in your garden, you can grow it, you can use Bobex spray, you can put up little netting. Some people put up a fence and then they grow stuff on the outside of the fence for the deer. There's millions of things you can do, and if they go to our website, Deer Safe, they'll see that, all the solutions. And we've tried to work with the CRD, but the CRD seems hell-bent to go ahead and have a cull. And of course, once they have a cull, they'll do it every year. And I dislike the word cull. A euphemism. Let's say kill or slaughter. And I don't want to pay for it. I'm a taxpayer, and I say no. There's so many places in Victoria we need to spend the money. We don't need to spend the money there. We've even offered to put up fencing for the farmers. We've said we will go out there and supply the manpower to put up their fences. And you don't have to fence the whole of the farm, maybe just a part of it. We've interviewed all the farmers, and a lot of the farmers say fencing really works. One man, he'd had the same fencing for 35 years.
And I ended up fencing in 2 acres to prevent the deer from coming in at fairly considerable expense to myself and to our family. In the natural cycle, there would be a predator that would control them and thin them out. Would not completely clear them out, but it would in fact control them. And because of what we have done to the environment, that predator is not there. And the predator typically was the cougar. And what do we do today when we see a cougar? We phone somebody, they either come and remove it or they destroy it because they will attack things like small animals, etc. So we need to have something in place that controls the deer. Be that a cull or be that whatever, there needs to be something in place.
It's a tough one. Yeah, Steve and I have had several meetings about this deer particularly. And we certainly do support deer management committees in terms of our on-the-ground expertise. And also we have equipment that's available, conservation officers that are helpful, and we're willing to work with communities. But I think we need a broader program. We talked today about the success of the Bear Aware program. I think we need to take that concept and expand it. But it's going to take a lot of work and a lot of education, because there are folks out there who think that it's, you know, that this is just a harmless kind of a problem, when in fact we've seen incidents where it's not, that human safety is at risk. So Steve and I are going to continue to work on that. Again, we support local communities where they have an action plan, but folks, when you start doing things with animals, you're going to create a hell of an emotional response. When I did the sled dog task force, I got 42,000 emails. And so we just, you know, that's the position we're in as leaders. We sometimes have to take the heat. We're there to help you with it, but unfortunately we can't avoid it.